So today I'm just going to do a quick test and review on the Ozito 18 volt cordless blower and hedge trimmer. This lot here that I've got came in a kit together with a 3 amp hour battery and fast charger for $129. The hedge trimmer and blower can be bought as skins individually or in battery packs, battery pack kits. The hedge trimmer kit with the 2.5 amp hour battery is the same price as this, so this is a bit better buy. Getting a bigger battery plus the bonus blower. The blower I'm only going to be using just for clearing off the grass off the driveway and the path after I've done the mowing, so this will do just fine for that. It's got enough power to easily blow that away. Previously I've been using a little workshop blower which didn't have as much power as this, and also being shorter meant that I had to lean down and it took a bit more time than what this will to get rid of it. The hedge trimmer, I've only got a couple of hedges here that just keeping tidy. I don't care if they're not 100% perfect. They don't have to look like they're in a maze. As long as they don't look scruffy and they look neat, I'm happy with that. So we'll see how they go cutting that a little bit later on. I've got one that just needs a slight trim, just getting a few little shoots poking up that needs tidying up, and I've got a couple of things down the back that I'm going to really knock back, and we'll see what the cutting capacity is like on that. It's claimed at being or rated to being 11 mil cutting capacity and 460 mil or 46 centimeter cutting length on it. So ideally I would have also liked to have got the pole trimmer that Ozito do for the hedge that I've got up the side here as its sort of roof height, but they were actually out of stock of them when I went to get this. They had them on special a couple of weeks back, and by the time I got around to getting there they were sold out. So I'll leave that down the track. I'll just have to get the ladder out to tidy this up, but we'll have a closer look and then get to cutting. So the one thing I wanted to show you here with the blower is that my only thing that takes a little bit getting used to with it is when you go to pick it up, where the trigger is to pull it on. If you just reach down and grab it and pick it up, you'll switch it on because the trigger is just there and clicks on as you pick it up. So you kind of have to just grip the sides a little bit as you go to pick it up. If you just stick your hand in and lift up without paying too much attention, you'll pull it on, which isn't too much of an issue, but just something that sort of has caught me out a couple of times when I've been picking up. If you pick it up at the back, you don't have that issue, but it's then sort of more weighted towards the front, and you can pull the trigger from there. So when you're actually working and holding it, waving it around, holding the trigger on, it's actually comfortable. When you go to let it off and you've got it in your hand, it's all okay, but when you just go to sometimes pick it up, you end up firing it up in the process. So for the hedge trimmer, pretty simple unit. It does take 2 hands to operate. You have the trigger at the back here, which you squeeze, and then you also have to squeeze the trigger at the front there. So you can pull either one on independently. I don't have the battery there at the moment, and it won't do anything. So you can hold it like that, and then the moment you pull the second trigger, whichever one is you pull second, then activates the unit. So that's all pretty straightforward. A lot of hedge trimmers will work off that sort of system where they have two triggers, so you can't just wave it around one hand. The blade cover is a little bit tight, but that's not so much of a concern for me. I actually think that's kind of good in a way, in the respect that if you're just carrying it, you're not going to have to worry about the thing just sliding off as you're walking along. I would just also like to add that all of my videos that I'm doing now are just purely so that people can see what the tools are like before they buy them. I'm in no way sponsored by anyone. I've bought all these tools out of my own money, and my first video which I've done, which I'll link to, was for the Ozito impact wrench. I'd seen other reviews on YouTube of it, but none of them sort of answered the questions that I wanted as to how much power it actually had. They were purely just going sort of undoing random bolts that you didn't know how tight they were. So I actually tested that one with a torque wrench to see just how tight it would go. And with these, I wanted to see just what sort of stuff I could cut through. The blower is pretty straightforward. You pull the trigger, it blows away the dirt and the grass. But the hedge trimmer, I want to see what sort of cut it actually gives and what it will cut through. So I just want to help people out to make decisions before they go and buy stuff. Something I just wanted to show you here is to do with the cutting capacity. So the distance between the two teeth here is about 16 or 17 mil. Once you actually get down to where the second blade is cutting through, it starts to narrow up there. So the 11 mil cutting capacity is actually measured down about here. I just had the vernier calipers on it to sit. So that's set at 11 mil. So it's right down the bottom there. So you can get some bigger stuff in there. That measurement up there, sort of a little way into the blade. We're looking at just under about 14 mil there. So you could sort of cut your way through bigger stuff just by sort of sitting it in there and slowly sort of hacking through it. But there is a limit to how big a material you will get into the teeth there as well. The other thing that I just noticed when I was setting up for this shot is the cover actually has a hole in the back of it here, so you can have a screw in the wall and have this hang vertically with the tool above it. So I'll probably actually end up getting around to doing that at some point. Probably not before I get around to getting the video uploaded. A little bit time poor at the moment, but yeah, that's going to be good to be able to set that up in the future to store it up out of the way. Okay, so this is the hedge up the front that I've got to tackle. This is the one that I would have liked the pole saw for, but you can manage just fine with the ladder. So I'll do the front, grab the ladder and do the top. I can't reach quite all the way to the back of it from this side, so I do have to go tidy it up from the other side. But I'll do this side and we'll see how it turns out. Okay, so that's looking good. And after all, what we're testing here is the machine, not my lack of ability. So I'll grab the ladder and I'll tidy a bit of the top up. So it's done a pretty good job. Still a bit at the back there that I can't reach, which I'll have to go around to the other side and get. But from the bits that I can reach, a few little bits that I've missed there, but it's doing a pretty good job. Previously I was using a corded old Ryobi. This is doing the job just as good, if not better. Probably being sharper blade on it as well. But yeah, very happy for this. Now we'll go test out some bigger stuff. Just a quick after shot of doing around the other side. So yeah, it's come up good. I mean, all I'm doing is waving the thing around like an idiot, and it's making the head shorter. Can't really ask for much more than that. So all I'm doing with that one is just trying to make it shorter. I'm not too fussed on how that one looks, I'm just tidying it up a little bit. So I just found two branches that I'm going to try and cut through. The first one here is 11 mil. So to put that into perspective, that's a little bit smaller than my pinky finger. I've got kind of big hands, not fat fingers, but big hands because I'm just over 6 foot tall. The other one that I found here is about 16 mil, so it's about as thick as my first finger. So I'm just going to sit them on the log. I'm not going to try and cut through the log, that'd be silly. But I'm just going to sit them on the log so I can get the machine on them and just show you how it cuts through them. The 16mm does take a little bit to get through. The thing I did find is if you're going to go through the thicker stuff, you do need to sort of hit it with a running start. You need to have the machine running before you sort of wave into it. If you have the branch in the machine as you try and start it, it just won't start, it'll stall. So there we go, quick run through of the Ozito blower and hedge trimmer from the Power X Change series that use all the same batteries. So yeah, if you just want to make things look a bit neater and blow some stuff around, then yeah, go for it. It's cheap enough. If you've got a really fancy hedge that you want looking pristine, you're probably going to need someone more skilled than me. But yeah, it still does the job. Nice and sharp, cuts through relatively easy. Yeah, does the job. So yeah, I'm really happy with my purchase there. Just to add a little bit on there, as far as battery goes, with the 3 amp hour there, that battery wasn't fully charged before I started. I had been using it other tools as well. When I first got it, I fully charged it and actually trimmed a hedge down the back, and then had used it in a drill and stuff. And there was some cutting that I did off camera as well, and it's still got plenty of charge left. 2 of the 3 lights are showing there. So that hedge that I did out the front is about 7 or 8 meters long, and I did the whole lot there, so I did more off camera there. So yeah, they're pretty light on the battery there. If you had 50 meters of hedge to go, you might probably end up flattening the battery by the end of it. But for smaller hedges, then yeah, it's not a drama at all. Also, getting unboxing of these things, they are ready to go out of the box other than having to charge the battery. So there's no assembly required on these guys.